Right
We're not doing it.
You should try. Good afternoon, everyone. We're coming to you live from our South Lamar studio at the office. This is the RO stream with myself and Hagen Fritz as your co-host. Because you know what they say, there's no building without us teaming. There you go.
Got it that time, yeah.
How are you, Hagen?
I'm doing well, Bruno. How are you doing?
Pretty good. It's the first episode of the month.
Oh, yeah.
March 1st.
Yeah, happened today.
I know. So we're looking forward to that. We have very special guests today.
Ah, yes, as we do every day.
They're
Well,
all
every week,
special.
rather.
They're all special too.
Of course, yeah. They're RO employees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So very excited to introduce him, but before we get to that,
Oh, yeah, we got a lot to get through before we get to him.
I know we have
Or
to
her.
catch up on you
Mm-hmm.
and R&D
Of course.
and any announcements that we have.
Uh-huh.
So
That's our agenda.
you
Yeah.
know, based on our papers here.
Yes, all these very important papers.
So let's get to it. How
Okay.
was? I know last time you told us about how you were doing the R&D tour
Mm-hmm.
and you were going to Dallas last week.
Yes.
How was that?
It was good. It was great. Let's see. We spent, I think, most of Thursday in the office, and then we went out to Traditions, just west of Fort Worth, or I guess kind of far west of Fort Worth, to meet with Shane Coleman out there. And then on Friday, I think we had one office visit in the morning, and then we were just kind of pinging around Dallas and Fort Worth. I can't remember the exact names of the projects. There was one up in Rockwall, and then one in Plano, I believe. Met with Ted Gates at one of them. The other names are slipping my mind. I should really write those down on our important papers so I know.
You might have in one of these.
Oh, yes. Do you? No, it's not there. Okay. But it was good. It was cool to see the Dallas office. I only have ever gone, the history wall in the Dallas office?
Yeah.
I don't know. So they took us through that in orientation. But that's kind of as far as I ever got. I'd never gone past that, or I still haven't gone downstairs. I don't even know if IT exists in Dallas.
It's a whole new world down there.
I know. But it was cool to see the whole office. I didn't realize it was kind of that open-ish kind of. So that was kind of cool. And it was neat to see some heavy hitters, right? So Austin Robertson greeted us at the door, so that was kind of cool. CFO opening the door for us. I felt very special, but it was cool overall.
That's pretty neat. Yeah, because you're from the DFW area, right? So you're kind of familiar with some of these places. No?
Sure. Yeah, I'm from Arlington, but I didn't really venture right between Dallas and Fort Worth. I didn't really venture too far outside of that. Just kind of stayed on my home base as a kiddo. So, but I am familiar with some of the main highways, I guess.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, of
That
course.
matters.
Sure.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. And you're still interviewing some people in Austin, right? So there's still some interviews happening.
Yep. There's a few. We have one today, and then I think a couple. There's only a couple more. So we should be wrapped up by the end of this week, and then we'll start doing our deep dive analysis on the interviews, and then we'll release that report, hopefully to a wider audience, so people will be like, "Oh, what's R&D up to?" Because a lot of people were like, "I don't even know what y'all do or how y'all are working on things or whatever." So
That's pretty exciting.
yeah,
We have
kind of nice.
that to look forward to.
Oh yes. Oh, it'll be so interesting.
That's
Hopefully.
tied into the survey that you guys sent out, right?
Oh, nice segue. Yeah, there is a survey. Actually, it came out on the communications email this morning, I think, when the RO communications email, at the very bottom of it, there's a little link. You can click that, and you can take that survey. We still, since my last plead to everyone out there, we got one more submission. One more. So hopefully we can get two more. 100% increase. That would be awesome. But hopefully we can get, even more people. Because, again, I'll plead one final time here. Plead one final time. We only have 90 people, right? And there's 500 people, somewhat at this company. Still can't quite figure out what that number is. But, so the survey is going to help us direct the R&D ship, right? Should be doing these deep dive ideas that take a long, long time to implement, or should be doing a lot of quick implement ones. And so it's really neat in the sense that the people are directing the R&D department. Very, very democratic, right? So hopefully people can get their 2 cents in. It takes 3 minutes tops to fill out, probably even less. So if you have the time, hopefully you do.
Check out that email that was sent out recently.
Yes, please do. That would be awesome. It would help us out a lot.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, but enough about me. What about you? What's going on in the VDC world?
We always say we're busy,
Oh,
just
of
like
course.
everyone else.
Mhm.
But we have a kind of cool little side visit happening this week. We're all Dallas and Austin and San Antonio meeting up in College Station to do some job site walking, get to meet some of the team. Not everyone has gone there, and we have 2 projects going on: College Main and First Street. So get to go to the job site.
And one of those is you're coordinating one of those.
Correct. Yeah, First Street
Okay.
student housing. Shout out.
That'll be great because I mean it'll be nice to go on the project. I mean I'm sure that drive is you can't do that drive all the time, so it'll be I'm sure nice for you to actually get out there, see the project, see the progress, talk to the team.
Yeah, I went there early on, fairly early stages, but I think now they're officially off the ground. So looking forward to
Ooh, that's very
the
exciting.
update.
Mm-hmm.
So very excited about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of news,
Oh
I know.
man, you're killing it with the segues.
We're natural. I do. There was an email sent out to everyone, just as a note that playbook, the original playbook 1.0, will be discontinued at the end of this month. So just kind of heads up if you're still using it out there.
So start reading.
Start reading. Anything that you're needing nowadays should be on the new playbook 2.0.
Ooh.
Just a little quick FYI. It's surely gonna go away. So if you have any bookmarks, read fast and learn fast.
Although I guess that information is still available, but
True.
No.
The new playbook.
Yeah.
2.0.
That's exciting though. That's cool. Seeing the progress.
I know. Progress like the progress that marketing has also been doing.
Oh wow, there you go again.
I think we talked about the RO yearly newsletter, and those are printed copies that you should be receiving in your mail.
Ooh, I'm excited.
There's also the RO recap.
Oh.
That's the monthly newsletter that you get an email.
Oh, okay.
And I know on this last recap, Natalie Sandoval was featured on the cover, just to spotlight one of our great employees, and then we also got to share some of our experience that we had at CES conference. So,
oh wow, that's cool. So you're in there.
We're kind of both in it, but yeah, you can see a video of me testing out some.
Ooh, is it the? I don't want to say it.
I don't want to spoil it.
Okay, yeah, but it's pretty cool. Honestly, like super cool. Like the thing that he tried out.
Yeah, there's a video of me making my fool myself. So if you want to check that out, there's the auto recap. Should be an email that was sent out around February 15th, I think. So.
Okay. Cool.
But pretty exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
You know what time it is?
I don't know.
I don't hear a bell, I think. Or
I don't know if our sound operator knows the drill here. Whoa, it's a
different noise. Okay. Hey, it's time for a Hardhat Questions segment.
Hardhat Questions segment, yes.
Do you want me to start? Do you want to go start?
What do you want?
I'll start.
Okay.
Oh, this one's coming from Anthony Carchi at Gotta Carchi Them All. Shout out Carchi. Is butter a condiment?
Ooh, good question.
Nice little question.
Yeah, of course. We don't make these up.
I know.
Well, I got some response from the crowd out there. They're saying
Peanut
yes.
Gallery?
Yeah, the peanut gallery. They're saying yes. It's hard. I feel like I guess yes, because it is an addition to this. You're right. When I think of a sandwich or a burger or something, I think of condiments as any saucy addition, and I guess butter is almost a sauce. It's a weird solid liquid. I don't know. What do you think?
I respectfully disagree.
Ooh.
I don't think it's a condiment.
Okay. Why?
Because it's used to cook, not to taste the food.
But what if you're like buttering your toast?
Dang.
I don't know who he's doing that for.
That's a good point. I just don't see. Yes, it seems like a prepping ingredient rather than a ingredient to enhance the meal.
That's fair. Well, that's good reasoning. Thank you, Anthony Carchi, for that very deep thought.
Oh, speaking, you brought this up, sandwiches. This one's coming from Alex Hernandez at Alexa, play Who Runs the World. She asks, can you rank the following sandwich places in order? Thundercloud, Subway, Schlotzsky's.
Wow, are you hitting all the sandwiches? Can I see that
question.
list, please? Thundercloud, Subway, Schlotzsky's. Ooh. I think Thundercloud, I went there yesterday, and I got a new sandwich that I hadn't gotten. I usually get the nata
Turkey
chicken.
Delight.
No, I know that you love that one, though. But I usually get the nata chicken, which is great. I feel it's like, I'm not a vegetarian, but it's like one of the best vegetarian sandwiches I've ever gotten.
Not a sandwich.
Right, not a sandwich at the sandwich place.
Mm-hmm.
But they have so many good sandwiches, and I feel like it's kind of underrated, Thundercloud. Then I have to go Schlotzsky's. I think Schlotzsky's is pretty solid. And then Subway, unfortunately, at the bottom. But
I agree. That's the same list I have.
I know. Oh, I know your Subway is like in hell, like
Oh.
at the very bottom.
There's a special place for it
Uh-huh.
down there.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
I don't know if you have time to break
it's
that
too
barrier.
much to unpack.
Yeah.
and
A lot of baggage.
And I don't want to cry about it. So
Okay.
let's move on to the last question.
Okay.
Do you want to read it?
Sure.
Okay.
I can read. You're gonna have to give the. I don't know who these are from.
Oh, yes.
You have those notes in front. I don't.
I can.
Okay. Oh, answered that one.
Oh,
That's a good question though.
like our set designer needs to clean
Well,
up.
someone emptied the hat. Who is the first R&D? Oh, excuse, no, sorry. Who is the first RO employee that comes to mind?
James Holmes.
Okay, why? Other than that he's in the room.
He's in the room.
Okay.
I don't know. I would say he cares about making a change, and he always means well and best. And he's
curated this whole entire thing we're doing right now, so
no, I think he's
hard to get him off the mind.
I think when you combine his curiosity and expertise, you get some
very
wild innovation.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, just keep that going. Yeah, keep the clap.
How about yourself? Who comes to mind?
That's not fair. You gotta distract me and then ask me again, but I guess we can't do that. So,
who do you think who comes to mind?
Anthony Carci, because we just mentioned him. In theory, this is a cool question, but in practice, it didn't work out. As not me, but whoever wrote it.
Perfect. Well, I think that's all the time we have today. I think we wanna welcome our guest. This guy's coming from H-Town.
H-Town.
We're from H-Town.
Wow.
Jack of all trades. I actually never met him in person. It's the first time I get to meet him in person.
It's the first time I've met someone before you.
Oh,
this is a big day.
It's a big day. But I'm excited because I know he comes from the field. He's very expert at what he does. So I'm looking to just learning about him and see what he has to tell us.
He's our first guest from Houston, right?
Also true. Yeah, he's also.
So that's exciting. We'll get a nice little perspective from the Houston folk.
I know. He's the real deal from the field.
Is that right?
Without further ado, this is Wes Elliott.
Oh, no. I'll never submit that idea now.
So certain are you? Always with you what cannot be done. Do you nothing that I say?
Thinking of ideas is easy. Submitting them is totally different.
No, no different. Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
All right, give it a try.
No, try not. Do. Or do not. There is no try.
You're just going to take those off mute, and then we're going to be on air, and then hopefully the camera is off the computer. And yeah, I'm going to wait for you to tell me yes there, Bruno. I think that, did you hit the cut button? Ah, there it is. I can see the red light from here. Thank you very much, sir. We're going to get there one day at a time. Mr. Wes Elliott, all the way from Houston to hang out with us today. Thank you for making the trip up here, and I'm very excited about this.
Yes, sir.
Let's pull that right up in. Yeah, it's
Like that?
That's perfect. It tends to stay pretty well wherever you put it. So go ahead and get cozy with it. We're going to be here for a minute. That's going to be fun, though. I'm looking forward to it. So, Mr. Wes, for those that aren't familiar, could you tell us where you're from and what do you do? What's your current role?
I'm Senior Superintendent, Houston. I help Jennifer with operations. I live in Houston. Well, I live in Katy, outside of Houston.
Okay. Yeah, just on the outskirts there. I would imagine it's probably like Austin, where like no one that works in Houston lives in Houston. They're probably all like scattered out around it and
Pretty much.
and such. Yeah.
There are those that like to live in like the Heights and, certain parts of the fashionable Houston, but yeah.
I just never got it. Like I want a little bit of breathing room. I don't want to see 30 neighbors as soon as I open my door, poke my head out a window. Like get off my back a bit here.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how Katie is for you? Just being out there, you've got some room to breathe, room to relax.
Oh yeah, we backed right up to the George Bush Reservoir, which flooded us. But we backed right up to. So I opened my back door and I'm looking at woods.
Oh, that's
So I can go back there and sit down and have a whiskey and unwind.
there. You go. Able to do any fishing back there? Anything worthwhile?
No, it's not a reservoir that keeps water. It's a reservoir that keeps water there so that Houston doesn't flood.
Gotcha. Okay.
One of those wonderful Corps of Engineer things.
Things that we don't have to deal with up here seems a bit foreign, but that's fun. That's nice. Got to be relaxing after spending all day on a job site to be able to go and sip that whiskey, look at the woods, and not hear a jackhammer running or hear neighbors blaring music or running up and down stairs.
Yeah, I have pretty good neighbors.
How did you end up at RO?
So I was at Structure Tone, and my project manager from there left and went to RO. And so I interviewed with Craig Glenn and Greg Lynch, and I was the second superintendent to be hired in Houston.
No kidding. So that was a small, compact RO Houston office, and that had to be a huge burden on your shoulders, I would imagine. Yeah.
It was fun. It was, there were 7 of us in the office, and my buddy Clint was the third RO superintendent, and we went to the second job, the first ground up that we did in Houston as a Houston office.
What were some of the challenges you ran into with such a small office? I mean, you have RO as a whole to support you from like a knowledge-based standpoint and all that, but you're still, 2 hours away from the nearest office at that point? They're not exactly around the corner if you have a question, or if you know what I mean, if you need something from people services or accounting or whatever. Kind of what was that like being such a small new entity in this organization?
It was a little like being out on an island. But I have people that I will call to ask questions. And we had resources that, at that time, Scott Kittrell was here, and he had been with RO for off and on 15 years. So, and then a couple of years after that, Jaime came down, and he's been with RO, I think now 17, 18 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've always had contact with the other offices, but we were just our own entity for a long time.
Well, it must have been, I can't imagine. I think of just any given project and the challenges they face, then to be, as you put, like out there on an island that just takes everything up one notch, I guess.
But I would say back then we didn't need a whole lot of interaction. It was, I remember Todd Wynn came down a couple of times at that time. I can't remember the old safety guy. He came down, but we didn't need a whole lot of interaction. We kind of did it ourselves.
What kind of projects were you guys doing at that point? Were they? I'm assuming they were smaller ones, or a lot of remodel type stuff, or finish out, or ground up.
Well, we had GE, which was a remodel of these great big warehouses. They had some gantry cranes that were rated for more than what the steel could hold, so we had to go and beef that up. That was a neat job. That was Kenny. I can't remember Kenny's last name, but he did that. He was out of Dallas, and then my job, First Choice ER, which that was the first ground up. We as a Houston office. Now we've been doing jobs in Houston for a while, but that was the first ground up as a Houston office we had.
That was it. First Choice ER.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'd be exciting, just to finally put a shovel in the ground instead of going in and doing remediation or beefing things up and all that.
It was an interesting job.
What I'm curious, what were some of the highlights or lowlights, or just some of the lights maybe in general?
So me and Graham laughed about this.
Graham Merriman.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So it was estimated, and they wrote it in the contract that it was 150 calendar days to build this thing. It was 9-bed, X-ray, CT, and it was in the woodlands, so you had to be mindful of their trees. And we had 40 days of rain. And so it was me and Justin Doty were on that job. He would take Sundays, and I took Saturdays, but we were on that job. We manned the job 7 days a week.
Oh my gosh, probably just dewatering 6 of those days.
It was, yeah, it was, even when there wasn't water standing, it was mud. I had to have 2 gradals on, or the gradal forklifts. And because I would bury one and I'd have to pull it out with the other one. And yeah, that was my most challenging project I've ever done, because it was fast paced and nature did not participate.
She's got a mind of her own.
Yeah.
It has a mind of its own, for upset somebody. So you just mentioned something earlier. We were talking about your experience in the military and getting vehicles, government vehicles stuck, and
Oh yeah.
a little less fun whenever it's your own vehicle, your own job site. But I am curious to hear, do you feel like your time in the military shaped how you operate as a superintendent within the construction world?
I think for sure. And anytime we have the opportunity to hire veterans, I will favor hiring a veteran, because I know that our training equips us. You learn to deal with stuff, and we have several veterans down in Houston, and now you don't have to be a veteran to be able to handle stuff. I do want to say that I have other superintendents that are not veterans that they handle stuff perfectly, but to me it is an advantage, because you learn to deal with stuff under pressure. And now I went through basic in 94 and I got out in 98, and so it was a very long time ago for me. But it's back then it was a whole lot more. They would stress you out on purpose to get you to quit, and I think they still do that, but I think they've lightened up on it a whole lot.
I think quite a bit.
Yeah, stress cards and stuff.
Yeah, got their cell phones down there and their personal time every day or whatnot. It's
safe places.
Safe places, right?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they deploy to a safe place too. That's super interesting, and I could not agree more. I think that if you're willing to tolerate the nonsense in the training of the military, right? I say nonsense, just a drill sergeant coming through and beating on a can to wake you up at 3 a.m. to go to a gas chamber. If you can handle that, you're probably going to be able to handle an upset trade partner or a demanding owner or what have you. Like it sets a very present threshold to those that are familiar with that environment.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, those folks definitely get big props from me as well. What do you miss the most about that time? Those 4 years from 94 to 98 while you're in, and what did you do, if you don't mind sharing?
I was a tanker, M1A1. I think it was the camaraderie that you have when you're on a tank. If you've ever seen the movie Fury, you become a family with those people, and it was. You can talk trash to each other all you want, and it's your family. We knew about each other's lives. In fact, my gunner, I know he retired. He's up in Lawton, Oklahoma. I think my tank commander, he actually got chaptered out of the military for too many DUIs. Yeah.
Are they in tanks?
Not that I know of.
I guess you're probably not getting stopped if you're pulling off a Dewey in a tank. I don't know what cop's gonna have the brass ones to try and stop you?
So he was, I think it was from obviously outside of the tank, but there were people who showed up, still under the influence that would get it there too.
I'll withhold any comments I have on that front for the moment.
You've probably seen it.
No one's ever shown up and done 2 miles while severely intoxicated. That's
you're not
that's
going to
not the
finish
Army
it.
way.
You're not going to finish it intoxicated. Yeah, the whole thing of binging and purging right there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's coming out one way or another. Sweat it out, puke it out, whatever it takes. That's fantastic stuff, Wes. I love hearing about it. What does leadership mean to you between that military experience and now being a senior superintendent? Is that correct? Senior superintendent. You're obviously responsible for the development, education, all that of others. How do you define leadership? What do those words mean to you?
I think leadership is a privilege that people think that they want leadership for the wrong reasons, but I think it's a privilege that you get to lead, that you get to be the person that is there to go to, or you're that person that is there to give out assignments, or it's a privilege. And, while most people think that, oh, well, now you're this, you don't have to do so much, there's actually more. Once you're put in that leadership position, we all know in construction, our jobs are not 9 to 5. Okay. We, you might have to sit down at the computer, on the couch and, crank out a schedule or answer emails or, oftentimes draft an email and then have somebody proofread it and make sure that you're not coming across ugly.
Sure. Maintain that tactful approach to things, right?
Right. So I think leadership is a privilege of responsibility. And and whatever your capacity is.
I think that's something a lot of people, I don't want to say forget, but I think often don't acknowledge, is that just because you're not a director or a vice president or a manager or whatever, like that doesn't preclude you from being a leader.
Right.
If someone's looking at you, if someone's asking you something, if anyone ever goes to you and goes, hey, Bruno, how do I do that? Like you're leading somebody, whether you meant to or not. You demonstrated to them the ability to do something in a fashion of which they want to replicate.
Right.
And I think that's one of those things that it's tough to convey to people, right? Because to try and give examples or define it, you end up with these little quantized blocks. But whenever you see it, you know it's happening. And I love that. Leadership is a privilege. It's a responsibility.
It is.
I mean, that's something I think all too often people go into those leadership roles, and like you were saying, they think, oh, I have these people that I can assign things to. I can get more done. It's like, no, you have people to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
You went from taking care of yourself to now taking care of a team of 5, 10, however many people. Yeah. You need to make sure that they're engaged, that they're fulfilled, that they're getting the job done. It's not a break from work by any means.
No, it usually means more responsibility.
Yeah. Whenever you were coming back to RO from Flintco, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What drew you back into RO, and in particular RO Houston and all that?
So I left and went to Flintco, and I did not have I didn't have a good experience there. It's a great company, but I was talking to Jennifer, and I wanted to come back and help her with the Houston office. I wanted Houston to succeed. I wanted it to be, I've been there. I wasn't there I guess I got there within the first year of it starting, but it was, I wanted to see it succeed. I wanted to see it, make money, to grow. And she's doing a great job at that. So I just wanted to come and help her.
Man, that's fantastically put. Just very, I hesitate to say noble. I think that might be a little too.
I think everybody
grandeur.
would argue with you about saying I'm noble.
Yeah. There's so many people, though, that, not necessarily at RO, but just in general, take a job for the wrong reason. Like, well, I got a 10% raise, or I get an extra week off, or whatever, whatnot. And it's like, that's good. Like, I'm happy that you're finding what you want out of that. But at the same time, I think I can tell you're passionate sitting here talking with you. This is only the second time I've ever met you. Like, this is something that you really care. You want to see that office succeed. And I think whenever you can align that passion and that desire with a role in a company or anywhere for that matter, you're bound to do great things. And it's quickly becoming very evident why Todd was so persistent that I need to talk with Wes Elliott out of Houston.
That's pretty cool.
So you can thank him for all of this. I don't know if he's listening right now, but I'm sure he'll catch up on it at some point. Have you always been in commercial construction?
No, I started out in '98 when I got out of the Army. I got into home building, and I was there for about 9 years.
Wow.
And it was taking the downturn. What was that? 07, 08, something like that.
Yeah, right
It was
around.
07. And so I interviewed with Schwo Building Company, and they brought me on as an assistant superintendent and sent me down to Houston to work on a FedEx freight facility. And it was a big job. It was 44 acres of paving. Some of it was 12 inches. Some of it was 11 inches. And the superintendent, he put me in charge of all the paving pours. And so I would go out there and I would check the pre-pour, and he would check behind me, make sure all the stuff underneath it, the storm sewer and all that. And so it was a lot of learning. And that was actually the only job that I ever was an assistant superintendent on, because after that, then they sent me out to Marquay, Texas to, it's a little 240 something people. It's City Hall for Marquay is like an outbuilding. It's like a shed. And I used to have a picture of it with the chickens running around in front of it. And it was, you're out in the middle of nowhere. And it's, so go to Centerville and then go west 20 minutes and then slam on the brake. And you're in the middle of Marquay. And we were doing a job for Halliburton, put up, we built a liquid mud plant and put up these ugly, big mud tanks. And right there, right at the edge of downtown.
So there's 240 or so people out in Marquay, Texas going, how dare you talk about our town center like that and call out our chickens.
I never saw 240 people. I think I saw the same 6 the entire time.
So that's drastically different than Houston, which I think is like the third largest city in this country. What are the differences like as a superintendent working out on the edge of nowhere compared to working in an absolute metropolis like Houston?
You can get the stuff you need most of the time in Houston. They will have, unless it's special order, you have some door hardware, stuff like that, doors that have to get made. But when you're out in the middle of nowhere, it has to come into a major city and then it has to get shipped out there. So I would say availability, you can run to the Home Depot. I think the closest Home Depot for me was College Station.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And that was just under an hour. There were 2 places to eat in Marquay, a Red Barn Barbecue and a Branding Iron Cafe.
and you knew every person that worked in each of them.
I knew the people who owned the barbecue joint. They were right across from my job site. I went out hunting on his land.
I bet they were thrilled just to have some new faces in town, some new people coming in and spending money now and again.
I think we financed their house because everybody would go over there and get barbecue.
Yeah.
I went through there several years later, and their little building is gone. So yeah, I think that they, after we got done doing construction and they weren't doing the business anymore, I think they just quit.
Yeah. So I got to ask everyone this question. You're in Houston now. You're at RO. What is it that you love about RO?
That's a difficult question. It's hard to sum that up in words. I like RO and how our people are. We care about our people. People go through stuff. We care about people, and it's a you can go to other companies, and yes, there's big money to be had, but you're just a number. And if you don't put out the right numbers, you're gone. And I think that when it's all said and done, I think RO is more, they say culture, but it's a culture isn't even the right word. It's the people. And we don't call and holler and cuss at subcontractors. We don't get ugly like that. We treat people with respect, and we treat people, the way we want to be treated. And now I have called and I've hollered, and I've been known to drop an F-bomb or 12. But getting ready with the delay. In fact, I told Sarah, HR is not allowed to watch this because I don't know what I'm going to say. My redneck might slip. So we treat people how we want to be treated. And I think we've done a good job of maintaining that.
Yeah, that's to your point. I think you'll hear a lot of people, or say a lot of companies state that, our people are our most valuable asset or most important resource, but you don't often see them ever demonstrate that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think here you can't hardly go a day without talking to someone about, some experience they had or are having and how RO is there to support them. Or, I say RO, maybe it's even a friend they made through RO or a manager or what have you. People out there that really do care, that are willing to help you out with whatever's going on.
It's all about the people. I mean, I know that R&D and Todd, y'all like your robots and all that, but you can't do shit without people. So if we're not out there to make people act right, safety wise, or make people install something right, it doesn't happen. And I mean, we like to, superintendents, we like to say we're glorified babysitters, but we actually are. We're out there making sure, number one, you're not trying to sacrifice part of your body for my job, but number two, that you're installing whatever it is you're paid to do right.
So you mentioned that, you consider yourself, these aren't my words, you said you're a glorified babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
To those younger folks out there that are maybe a PE or a QM or even an APM that are interested in going into the superintendent / babysitter side of things, what would you tell them? How would you prepare them, recommend to them for that role?
I think number one, we're not a overly sensitive industry. We are, we're out there in the field where it's hot, it's dirty, you get frustrated, you're gonna cuss about it. But I think we have the most fun because we actually get to build shit. I'm not sit there.
Little late, Bruno. You missed one earlier.
You're not actually going to, you're not sitting there drawing it. You're not sitting there, writing it up. You actually go out there and make sure that it is built right, and you get to interact with the people who do it. You got Legos sitting around here, big Legos. There's pretty impressive Legos.
Thank you.
But, I like doing Legos when I was a kid. I like building stuff. And we get to go out, we get to see something start, and they build it, and you get to see the parts that go into it, and it's done. And, no, I didn't go out there and I did not tie the steel. No, I didn't go out there and place the bricks. But we can look at that and go, I did that. We did that. And it's a pride in an end product. People too often want stuff just handed to them, but we actually have to build it. And it is actually, you feel good when you walk away from it. It's not something that, just popped up there.
Yeah, that's love the PMs out there and all that. They do a fantastic job. But like you said, at the end of the day, it's you finding a way to compel that, those steel erectors or that masonry fella or those drywallers to like, hey, let's build this, and don't just slap it together. Like, this might be a drywalled room today, but 2 months from now, 5 months from now, whatever, this is going to be a hospital bed where someone receives life-saving treatment.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be the elementary school where kids come in and learn all about history and math and how to be productive members of society and things like that. So, I think that you have a very tangible, real-world attachment to the functionality of those rooms compared to those that are more focused on the drawings, on the, doing all the submittals and pay-apps and things of that nature.
Now, I don't want to take away from project managers, because if they don't do their job, we have nobody showing up to actually do the work. And if they just write a contract and they don't put the stuff in there, then, I have people showing up in shorts, flip-flops, and, it's not in my contract that I have to wear PPE.
Just tell me it's not real.
I have had that. Oh, yeah.
Shorts and flip-flops.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. I think that, too, that highlights the importance of that dynamic duo of a PM and superintendent. I can't remember where I was the other day. They were talking about, project teams, and a project team consisting of really a superintendent and a PM. And there's obviously a ton more roles that go into it, but it is those two that click together to make that project come to life. Are there certain aspects or traits in a project manager that you get excited to work with? Certain things that some folks do that you're like, yeah, this is going to jive well. I'm stoked about this project. Or conversely, things where you're like, we're going to have some work to do here. We're going to have some relationship building time with people services to make this one launch off.
I would have to say your project manager has to be willing to spend time on the job. The ones that do their whole job from the office, that doesn't work. They have to see what it is you're building. They have to be part of it as well. I will always say Jaime can squirrel away money, and he is the best. I'll be like, hey, how much money do we have? We have nothing. We have nothing at all. And then we get to the end of the job, and it's like we had $1 million, there. And it's like, but that's how we make money. And I was like, okay, well, and vice versa, you have the superintendents, if they are always wanting to go out and buy crap, then, so you didn't have to bleep that one. If they're always wanting to go out and buy crap, then it's, they're going to spend that money. So, it is a marriage. And it's, you have to work together. And, you can have project managers that think, oh, well, my job is the most important one. Well, either one of you can't do it without the other. Because I know some superintendents that they could probably write a contract and they could do that. But if you're doing that, then you're not watching the guys in the field.
Right. Yeah. At the end of the day, we only have a certain number of hours. So it's going to be impossible for you to do it all.
Right.
You're going to have to develop some level of trust and understand how your counterpart functions to ever be effective. Yep. Yes. Yeah. You're talking about Jaime having money squirreled away.
Is he commenting on it?
No, not yet. Well,
Okay.
I'll let you know if he does.
Okay.
But it just makes me think of the task will always grow to fit the time allotted, or the task will always grow to fit the budget allotted. So if you've got someone like, yeah, here, have it, yeah, there's plenty available. Next thing you know, you're going to be getting down to the last quarter of the project, and it's going to be like, hey, so we got some big problems.
Yeah.
We need a lot of patchwork or whatever. We need some equipment out here to boom lift or whatever to go work on this roof or whatnot.
We can no longer afford porta potties, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, she should be all right without those. Find a tree.
Is
that still okay?
I always, go around the side of the bush or something, go to the other side of the backhoe. But apparently HR frowns on that. Something about public exposure.
Goodness. You guys are having fun down in Houston, I can tell. We've been going it's got like 12, 13 minutes left here. Wes, what do you like to do for fun? If there's some young buck coming out of A&M that's a new hire P going down to Houston, what should they be bringing you or telling you or talking to you about? What's going to get you excited to discuss?
Whiskey.
Whiskey? I saw you've got is that a Garrison Brothers
Garrison
mug
Brothers.
there? I was checking that out.
Good whiskey. I
Worst DJ ever.
like, what the hell is that?
You're not having a stroke. You're
I
good.
guess that's a happy sound. It sounds like a crappy horn. Good whiskey. But whiskey, hunting, fishing. I'm a terrible fisherman. I will straight up, I get excited and I'll rip the lips out of the fish. I like to go shooting, stuff like that. It's at golf. If I can drive a little car and drink, then I'm fine with it. But hitting the ball, or drive a little car with the, drink, but hitting the little ball, that's not really fun to me.
What if we hook you up with like a rifle? Like we get you like a 22 subsonic and just set you, 50 meters out from the ball and let you drive it like that.
I can do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Try.
Yeah, I can do that.
Sounds like a terrible idea, but something that we absolutely need to find a way to get some of these cameras on, maybe a 4th of July or something like that.
Yeah.
What kind of fishing do you like to do? You like to go out do the saltwater, fly fishing, boat, shore? You out there in the waders?
I'm not going to get in waders to go fishing. I'll go get in waders to go hunting. But I like saltwater because it's a big fish.
Yeah.
It makes your time worth it. I like bay fishing. That's fun. But I don't have the patience for fishing. You get out there and, I have the patience for catching, but whereas I can go sit in a stand and I can admire nature. I can enjoy that. I might take a nap, but I'm going to admire nature. Out there on the water, it gets hot and it gets freaking boring.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'd never thought about it that way. You say you didn't have the patience for fishing. I'm like, but you have the patience to go sit in the deer blind for 6 hours?
But you can look at the trees, you can look at the squirrels, the birds. You can see a squirrel and I haven't seen a deer. What would my 308 do to that squirrel?
Evaporate it.
Oh yeah, it'd be like red mist. It would be awesome. But haven't done that. People services. But no, it's fun to go hunting and be in the woods.
Yeah, and that's I think that is too something that's can be underappreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Just being out there and relaxing, and I live out in the sticks myself, not too far out, but got trees and birds and all that. And there are times I'll go outside and just sit on the porch or whatever. And if you just sit out there for a bit, it's incredible what you see. All the roadrunners start showing up. You see lizards running around. There's, a cat or a skunk or whatever dipping through the creek and all that. And I think it's one of those things that it's easy to not take the time to appreciate. So yeah, as I thought about it, I could see having the patience for hunting but not fishing starts to make sense.
Yeah.
What's your you have any like annual hunts you go on? Do you head out to Colorado and go hunt elk or?
I'd like to go hunt elk. No, I just go deer hunting usually once or twice a year.
Gotcha. Just hanging out in Texas, going to whatever you can get on to.
I don't like getting cold anymore, so that's. I'm 50 years old. I don't like getting
50
cold.
Years old. I would not have guessed that. But hold on now. Give me a second to process that. First, I'm shocked that you're 50 years old. You don't look it. Second of all, did you like turn 50 and you just stopped liking the cold? What happened? Was this a gradual thing?
So we were doing Operation Bright Star in Egypt, and we got there and it was hot, and we didn't take any cold weather gear, and all of a sudden it was like it went just like that, like it does in the desert, and it rained and then it froze.
In Egypt?
In Egypt.
No kidding.
And so when sand gets wet and then it freezes, it becomes a rock. And so there's nothing to block the wind in Egypt. It just blows for like 1,000 miles or something, all across Africa. And it would pick up a piece of sand and it would hit you in the face, and it's like somebody hitting you with a dart. And so we didn't have any cold weather gear. So we're wearing, our sweats up underneath our DCUs, and, you're wearing everything that you can to stay warm. And ever since then, it was like, nope, screw that. That's why I live in the South. I don't want to. When we had the snow
back in February.
Yeah, well, for us, it was a couple of years ago, and when we had Snowmageddon.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yep.
And I was like, shit, I can't move any farther south. I'm gonna have to go to Florida or something like that. And see, you're like, but it was, yeah, no, I was like, no, screw this. It's cold, and yeah.
Wow, just like that.
Oh, I hate the cold.
Well, I'm happy you're here and we're not having this conversation with Manhattan Construction or something up in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, note taken. So you're on your way out. Well, that's wild. Yeah. You don't think of those. I think a lot of folks, myself included, don't often think of some of those areas being cold. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You're out there in the desert and it'll flip that switch on you. That sun goes down, it gets cool real quick. And if it starts getting wet, be ready.
Oh yeah. It's
in for a ride. Excuse me. All right. Here's one for you, Wes. Would you rather have more time or more money?
So when I get the money, I don't got no time to spend it?
I didn't think it through that much. I don't know. It seemed like a good question a couple weeks ago when I was putting this together. Let's say that is true. Let's say you have more money, but you have no more time than you currently do. You have an hour a day free right now. That's all you maintain, but you have as much money as you want.
Oh, not until I die. See, more time could mean, like you live longer or.
Oh, this guy's good. See, I didn't think through any of this.
So you have not prepared for the day you meet a genie and they say, what is your wish? You're going to screw that all up.
Oh, you're absolutely correct. The funny thing about that is I've been going around asking everyone at RO, what do you want to change? Or if you could change anything, what would you change? And I haven't thought about it at all myself. Yeah, I'm terribly prepared for Egypt because I don't have my genie wishes ready, and I don't have any cold weather gear on hand.
Oh, I've got cold weather gear.
See, Wes, you put me on the spot now. I'm trying to think of how to reframe that. Would you rather win the lottery or have 5 years off of work? How about that?
If you win the lottery, you're gonna quit work anyway.
Somebody
if it's big
help me
enough
out here. Chris Terrell says take the money.
Yeah. So I would take the money. Then
Then you take the time off.
yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. That's a very simple solution to what I thought was a far more complex question to ask. Should have thought that one through a bit
You should
more.
set some parameters on your question.
Oh man, I know. I'm gonna cut myself a bit of slack because believe it or not, you were supposed to be here. I think exactly a month ago, and we had that all that foul weather come through. At least here, I think down in Houston, you guys kind of made it out relatively unscathed.
I think it got cool, but yeah, we didn't have ice weather.
Yeah, it was pretty bad up here. I know, at least out of my house, all the tree branches were hanging to the ground. We had a couple weekends worth of cleanup. But I prepare these questions somewhat. This is obviously conversational, but I put these questions together and sent them off to you back then, and then totally forgot about them until about an hour ago. So I had to go kind of refresh myself, and I think you're seeing in real time the difference in having 4 of these conversations since I last wrote these. Tightened up the shot group a bit. I was still slipping. This would have been number 3 or 4 or whatever for us if you'd made it back in February. But all right, Wes is taking money over time, and then with that money, he's taking time.
There you go.
Time off. All right. Well, here. How about this one? We've got 3 minutes left. I'm gonna find some way to work this into some sort of question.
Okay.
If you were given $10 million, what would you do? Tax free. It's legal. You don't need to hide from anybody. You can spend it however you want. It's just here's $10 million. What are you doing next week?
I'd buy land and build a house.
Yeah, in Texas, or are you going further south?
Oh, Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not leaving Texas.
You don't think you'd make it out there in Florida, out in the Keys?
No, I mean, that's a great place to visit, but I like Texas. I like our attitude. I'm a native Texan. I was born in Fort Worth. I like our guns. We make whiskey here now.
Mighty fine whiskey, sir.
It is a good whiskey. It is, Kentucky whiskey is still really great. That's, it's hard to beat Kentucky whiskey. Tennessee whiskey is shite. And anything else that comes from like Indiana and all that, that's shite. But so it's Texas and Kentucky. But I'd buy land, and I would stay in Texas.
There you go. Post up.
Guns,
Hang
money,
Enjoy wildlife.
the right attitude,
I like it. One more question for you, Wes, and we'll let you get out of here. If you had to give advice to a young Wes, what would you tell him today, knowing what you know?
Oh, shit. So that's a tough one because you don't want to change anything that got you where you are, because if you do, you're not going to be here. I mean, were there things that I've said, oh man, I wish I'd have done this different. I wish I would have been, as a teenager, I wish I would have been more willing to take a chance. I wish I would have, I always wanted to play baseball, but high school, not pros. I sucked at sports. I was kind of a late bloomer. I can knock somebody down, but I could not throw or catch very well. So, I would say I would have stuck with it and played baseball. I enjoy baseball, but I don't think I would change anything. I think I would, if you change the road that got you where you are, you won't be the person you are today. And, my first 2 ex-wives, my first 2 wives, they probably would have, wished there would have been some things changed, but,
There were things changed. The wife.
yeah. Yeah. Now I have the finale, and so I would never have gotten to her had I changed anything. So I that's a very philosophical question, because if you change anything, you're not going to be here. You know,
Absolutely, yeah. Well put. I think, yeah, appreciating that there's something to be taken from everything.
the broken road. You know,
Mm.
if you hadn't have taken, if you hadn't screwed up, if you hadn't have done this, you hadn't done that, then you might have had happiness over here, but you might not have.
Well, Mr. Elliott, this was, if you can believe it's been, I think, over 45 minutes now. We've been going back and forth, and I feel like it's tip of the iceberg. But I want to hold people up. I know we try to stick to an hour to this. That's apparently what a lot of commute times are. So we're going to cut out of here. But thank you all very much. Don't forget about that. Everyone's going to know Cesar wasn't here. Like, audio engineering was terrible on that one. Thank you to everyone that jumped on board here. I love having these conversations. Don't forget about that playbook, the old playbook cutting out at the end of the month. So if you have anything you need to get out of there, get in there, get it out, remember it down. And next week we will be here with Mr. Ash Gilliam, the director of quality from San Antonio, I'm pretty sure. All right. Thank you, Wes.
No problem.